What if the real war isn't about politics at all? What if it's good versus evil? Not left versus right, or even religion for that matter. Something much deeper than that. Because when you really start looking at history, there's a pattern most people were never taught to see. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm Christi Chanelle, and this is Sassy Politics. Welcome to Sassy Politics, the place where we talk about politics, power, and the human side of headlines. Because these headlines are about us. I wasn't raised in one religion. My mom actually ran from religion. She felt suffocated by it, like a cat scratching at the walls trying to escape. After I was born, she married a Jewish man who turned out to be one of the most incredible humans I've ever known. My stepdad. So my childhood looked like this: a menorah and a Christmas tree, Hanukkah candles one week and midnight mass the next. We moved to New Jersey after leaving Texas, and I watched the kids around me belong to something. Catechism classes, Bible study, crosses around their necks. And I remember feeling left out. So one day I bought a fake cross with my own money, my allowance money. And I think I have a picture, maybe it was third grade, where I'm wearing it. I just wanted to feel like I belong somewhere. But as I got older, something shifted. I see that as a gift now that my mom left me. I wasn't locked into one belief system. I was free to follow my own intuition. I've always been someone who reads energy. I say it in many of my episodes, at the risk of sounding crazy, but it's just what it is. I can walk into a room and feel it instantly. If something feels wrong or off, I feel it. If someone is hurting, I feel it. If danger is coming, I feel it. Sometimes it just shows up as anxiety, like right now. Right now, it feels like something is in the air. Like a ticking clock, like we're running out of time to wake up. And that feeling is exactly what pushed me towards building Linked We Stand. Because the more I watch what's happening in the world right now, the more I realize this is bigger than politics. This is good versus evil. It's not religious. It's in a human sense. Truth versus manipulation, empathy versus domination, community versus control. And if you think I'm exaggerating, let's talk about some history, shall we? When women were outspoken, they called them witches. During the witch hunts in Europe and colonial America, historians estimate around 100,000 people were prosecuted for witchcraft, and roughly 40,000 to 60,000 were executed. Most of those accused were women. Women who were independent, outspoken, spiritual, or simply different. They were dangerous to systems built on control. I still wonder sometimes, would I have been burned at the stake? Would you? Pressing women through madness, and when society stopped burning witches at the stake, they started diagnosing them. For centuries, women were labeled with a medical condition called hysteria, a diagnosis tied specifically to women's emotions, independence, sexuality, or behavior men found inconvenient, too emotional, too loud, too angry, too passionate, too powerful. So instead of calling women witches, they called them crazy. Then they started suppressing women through law, and the law backed it up. For most of U.S. history, married women had no independent legal identity under something called coverture. Chat, will you explain what coverture is and where it came from?
Coverture was a legal doctrine originating in English common law. Under it, a married woman's legal identity was subsumed by her husband's. She couldn't own.
Why do you think they would have done that to women?
Thus, legal and financial power was consolidated in his hands, ostensibly for efficiency and stability. In practice, this reinforced gender inequality, depriving women of autonomy until reform eventually took hold.
Yeah, and they're trying to go back to that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Returning to a system that restricts the legal capacity of married women would conflict with widely accepted principles of equality.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay, so women's legal voice belonged to their husband, as Chat just so kindly told us. Women literally did not exist legally as independent people. I would not have functioned very well in that environment. I can tell you that right now. I wonder if I would have been burned at the stake. Huh. Probably. So if you think this story is only about women, you're not paying attention. Look at race. After slavery ended, states passed black codes restricting where Black Americans could live, work, vote, or even testify in court. The system didn't disappear. It just evolved. Different names, same control. So here's the real question. How did we get to a place where the world just accepted that one demographic should dominate power? Why did we believe this was the natural order? Because when you actually look at the results, the system clearly isn't working. War, division, greed, environmental collapse, mass inequality. If the same leadership model keeps producing the same broken outcomes, maybe it's time to question the model. And I'm not saying they haven't questioned it before. They clearly have. Many times, many centuries. It's just nobody's really paying attention. I just don't get it. It's a very bad comparison, but I've never said I was good at comparisons or analogies. But who decided that we needed to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Where did that come from? Yet everybody does it. There are some people that question this, right? Me, I don't typically have breakfast. That's outside the norm. But it doesn't stop children being taught that you should have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? All those sugary foods, all those sales from Kellogg's, just a question. And maybe that's what we should be doing more of. Questioning, changing, moving. We're not doing enough of it. We're actually sitting here just watching it all happen. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of questions. Today, I had a leadership meeting for Linked We Stand. It's 4 women, 4 strong, brilliant women who care deeply about people, community, wellness, and helping others feel less alone. We were talking, as we do every week, about the direction of this company, Linked We Stand. And I had a lot of thoughts that I read today, and I opened it up and said, here's my idea and vision for our company for building communities. And while I was doing that and explaining these ideas, Stephanie was pulling tarot cards at the same time. I had no idea. She wasn't on camera. Love her for this. We could always use some divine intervention to make sure we're going down the right path, right? So while I was explaining the vision, Stephanie quietly starts pulling tarot cards. I didn't even see it happening. She was just letting the energy speak. I mean, is there any better way to do it? I doubt it. Then she pulled a card, but I'm not going to tell you yet what that card was. I'll tell you in a minute. So if you have any ideas about what card she pulled while I was telling the team the vision for our company, put it in the comments. I would love to hear the card you think we pulled, because I truly believe something is changing. The old systems are cracking. The systems built on domination and control are collapsing under their own weight. And something else is rising. Collaboration, community, empathy, women stepping into leadership. It's all to rebalance. And I know a thing or two about balance because I'm a Libra. I believe the world is moving towards a more feminine energy of leadership. Balance. We are balancing the scales because the scales have been tilted for centuries. Linked We Stand's mission at its heart. So I wrote this and I wanted to read it to you. It doesn't have any of our logistical things in this mission statement. So I am just going to cover parts of it. But I thought it was important for you to hear because I want you to be a part of it. So I need your buy-in. Are you ready? Okay. Tell me what you think. Your opinion matters greatly. Linked We Stand is about people, Right now, many people feel isolated, overwhelmed, and unsure who they can trust. The world feels chaotic and emotionally exhausting. One of the biggest problems people are facing right now is disconnection. People feel alone in their concerns. They feel like they can't talk about things openly. They feel like the systems around them weren't built for their well-being. Linked We Stand is about building community, a place where people can reconnect with something real, where people can talk to each other, support each other, share resources, learn from each other, and build resilience together. Because when people feel connected, supported, and informed, they are far stronger than when they feel alone. So now, let me tell you the card Stephanie pulled during our conversation. It was the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles represents leadership rooted in nurturing, stability, protection, and abundance. She represents someone who builds something that sustains others. Someone who creates environments where people feel safe and supported, a protector of community, a builder of foundations. When that card showed up in that moment, it felt like confirmation, like the universe saying, you're on the right path. And that brings us back to the theme of this whole episode, good versus evil. This isn't about religion. This isn't about ideology. It has everything to do with energy. The energy of control versus the energy of connection. The energy of domination versus the energy of empowerment. The energy of fear versus the energy of truth. The good news is that we're not powerless. Because when people link together, when communities form, when voices connect, that's when the balance shifts. That's when real change begins. That's when good starts winning. The podcast drops on Tuesdays at midnight, wherever your podcasts are streamed. And if something in this conversation resonated with you, just know this. You are not alone, because together we are far more powerful linked together than we ever are standing alone. See you next week.